Welcome back to my channel Line Shapeform. Manga and anime eyes are incredibly expressive, making them both fascinating and fun to draw. With so many unique designs, you can convey a wide range of emotions through just the eyes. But have you ever found yourself doodling just one eye? Maybe you love the idea of drawing a single eye, but the thought of tackling the other one feels daunting, leading to frustration. If this sounds familiar, then this video is perfect for you. Let me show you step by step how to get both eyes right every time. In this beginner-friendly tutorial, I'll cover eye spacing, tilt, shapes, and size, leading to a step-by-step guide on drawing the second eye. To enhance your learning, I'll demonstrate on 10 different sets of eyes for plenty of practice opportunities. Let's discuss eye spacing, which has 3 variations. In this case, we have average spacing, where the gap between the eyes is approximately equal to the width of one eye, measured from the inner to the outer corner. This is considered to be the ideal spacing. Next, we have close-set eyes, where the gap between the eyes is narrower than the width of one eye. And lastly, we have wide-set eyes, where the gap is wider than the width of an eye. Among these 3 variations, characters with close-set eyes are probably the least common in manga and anime design. Let's look at some examples of these 3 variations. When designing characters or copying a drawing, pay attention to eye spacing. There's no right or wrong choice. Each option creates a unique look based on your preference. Keep in mind that the first and third options are more common. Many beginners often draw eyes too close together, even when trying to replicate a specific character drawing. However, when this is pointed out, they may then space the eyes too far apart. It's important to find a balanced approach. When drawing a face, roughly map out the eye positions. Ensure there's enough space between the eyes and between the outer corners of the eyes and the face's contour. Balance everything before adding details. Using simple shapes to quickly sketch the placement and size of facial features can help you avoid mistakes and frustration. Next, let's discuss the shape of the eyes, specifically the tilt. When it comes to tilt, we generally have 4 options to choose from. In our first example, the inner and outer corners of the eyes are at the same level, which can give the eyes a slightly droopy appearance. In this next example, the outer corners of the eyes are slightly higher than the inner corners, which is generally considered the ideal tilt. The third variation is the down-slanted tilt, where the outer corners of the eyes are lower than the inner corners. Lastly, we have the up-slanted tilt, characterized by outer corners that are significantly higher than the inner corners. Now let's take a look at what a manga-style eye with this tilt might look like. When drawing eyes, or anything really, it's beneficial to focus on the overall shape first, rather than getting lost in the details. Start with simple shapes like these. They make it easier to mirror the eye. Pay attention to the tilt and identify where the highest point of the eye will be. Once you have the basic shape, you can refine it into a more defined form. The final step is to add the details, but we will cover all of that in more detail later. These different tilts and shapes play a crucial role in character design. Using variations helps distinguish characters within a story, especially when many share similar features. Additionally, each eye shape can be associated with specific character traits, allowing you to effectively establish your character's personality. The next key point is eye size. Simplifying the eye, we see that in manga and anime, the upper eyelids are often drawn thicker due to longer, denser eyelashes, making them appear darker and more prominent than the lower eyelids. This thickness effectively represents the lash line as well. It's similar to makeup, which defines and enhances facial features. You want the eyes to stand out, as they express emotions. The red lines indicate the border between the eye and skin. While not drawn in, You should always be able to connect the upper and lower eyelids with a line, especially when coloring a drawing. As we discussed earlier, there are countless ways to design an eye, including its shape, size, brows, eyelids, lashes, iris details, highlights, and eyelid creases. These elements can range from realistic to highly exaggerated. Vertically stretched eyes typically feature oval-shaped irises to match the overall eye shape. Oversized irises that obscure the white of the eye present challenges in depicting eye movement. You can easily transform female eyes into male eyes and vice versa by making subtle adjustments, such as adding or removing eyelashes. Next, let's explore the shapes that make up these eyes. You can choose to use organic, curved shapes or angular ones, whichever you feel more comfortable with. If you understand the fundamentals of drawing, you know that everything can be broken down into simple shapes and forms. You can greatly improve your skills by learning to recognize these shapes and using them as the foundation for your drawings. Beginners often get lost in the details, so starting with basic shapes and building your drawing from there is essential. Now that we understand the importance of eye spacing, tilt, shape, and size, let's start practicing. I've prepared 10 sets of eyes for you to work with. The first set is simple, just a warm-up. I'll explain the steps for the first few exercises, and then you'll be ready to continue on your own for the rest of the video. For these exercises, we'll use average spacing, which means the distance between the eyes will be equal to the width of one eye. Let's draw a straight horizontal line to represent the width of both eyes, including the space in between. Divide this line into 3 equal sections. Draw the eye in its basic shape. I placed a thick red line next to the eye, matching the width of one eye for comparison. Utilize guidelines or markings to accurately determine the size, position, height, and width of each element. While slight differences are acceptable, aim for precision. This practice will enhance your observation skills. Now that the most challenging and crucial part is complete, you can begin adding the details. When drawing traditionally with pencil on paper, begin by creating a sketch with light strokes to outline the basic shapes and composition. This approach allows for easy adjustments. Once you're satisfied with the sketch, go over the lines with stronger, clearer contours and erase any excess marks for a polished finish. That wasn't too challenging, was it? Let's move right on to the next set of eyes. From this point forward, we will also incorporate some basic pencil shading. This time, we will begin by drawing a horizontal line but without dividing it into thirds. Roughly, sketch one eye, then measure its width and make 2 markings at equal distances for the space between the eyes and the second eye. I'm incorporating these guidelines into my drawing to illustrate my thought process and focus. If you prefer, you can use markings instead, or feel free to skip them altogether if you don't find them necessary. However, guidelines are valuable tools, and I recommend using them to help achieve accurate proportions and positions, especially if you encounter challenges. You can create them freehand, and they don't need to be overly technical. Additionally, practicing drawing straight lines and estimating distances by eye can be very beneficial. Also, pay attention to the negative space, for example, the space between these elements. You don't need to measure anything, but observe whether the distances between the lines are consistent on each side. This is another key point. Don't focus solely on each line you're drawing. Instead, consider how the lines and elements relate to one another, and keep an eye on the overall appearance of your entire drawing. Pay close attention to the placement of each pupil. Incorrect positioning can easily create a cross-eyed appearance. Let's add some basic pencil shading to complete the eyes. Layer your pencil strokes in the upper area to darken that section slightly. Keep the bottom section white to symbolize the reflective light. Add shadows from the upper eyelid onto the eyeballs to create depth. Another set of eyes completed. While editing, I realized that these could be interpreted as down-slanted eyes, rather than up-slanted ones. You can definitely use the shape of down-slanted eyes as an option. With eyes like these, the inner corner isn't always clearly defined. However, if you consider the inner end of the upper eyelid as the inner corner, these are definitely down-slanted eyes. But as long as the shape you choose for your sketch serves your purpose, it works just fine, as you can see. You can also use either curved shapes like I did here or more angular ones, whichever is easier for you to work with. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated on new content. Your support means a lot and is completely free.